panelist's work is done. If a panel finds a realtor has violated the code, they must then determine the appropriate sanction to impose, and in doing so, they must make sure the punishment fits the crime, so to speak. The sanctions that the panel can impose range from a letter of warning, a letter of reprimand, a requirement that the respondent attend an appropriate educational class, a fine of up to $5,000, probation or suspension of realtor membership. Some of these sanctions are obviously very serious in nature and should be imposed judiciously. For example, if the respondent is a relatively new realtor and no prior violations would have been filed, a substantial fine or suspension of membership would likely be inappropriate in most circumstances. However, if the respondent has several previous violations in his file, yes, the panel is advised during the sanction process whether the respondent has violated the code previously. Then the panel might be justified to impose the more serious sanctions. Sanctioning guidelines can be found in the Code of Ethics and Arbitration Manual and are very helpful tools for hearing panels. The second and final task of the hearing panel is to reduce their decision to writing. And the decision can't simply state, "Fred violated Article 9 and has to go to class." It must contain a findings of fact, conclusions of the hearing panel, and a recommendation for disciplinary action. This is what we think Fred did. This is why we think Fred violated Article 9, and this is what we recommend as a sanction. So the responsibilities placed on the shoulders of the panel members are considerable. They must be experienced, well-trained, and, yep, you got it, impartial. As with grievance committee actions, any action taken by the hearing panel is subject to various types of appeal. These appeals would also be considered by the association's board of directors or by an appeal panel of directors. Let's move on to the other type of hearing that Professional Standards Committee conducts, an arbitration hearing.